Hey, what's going on, everybody? Before I get started, I have to thank my family, my wife, and kids for allowing me to go on this journey that I'm about to go down. Last semester of school, just got an email yesterday, was accepted into the law school LSAT preparation program where you get ready to take the LSAT test. And it's gonna be on Mondays and Wednesdays from 5 to 7 p.m. after I get off work, and some days get out of school. So I want to tell my wife and kids, thank you for allowing me to go down this journey because I know it's not easy. I'm back here in the studio doing this, taking notes, trying to get ready. Today was just the orientation, but from here on out, for 12 weeks, it's gonna be a grind. It's gonna be a learning experience, and I'm up for the challenge. And if you would like to see me vlog after I get done with the classes, I may do that. Let me know in the comments what you think about that. So I'm trying to power up, be ready, and insulated. But let's get into the sports today. Live CTM Sports. Let's get into it. Hoopfest possibly making a return. I seen a news article today that said Hoopfest could be making a return. I think that's a good thing because it gives the youth a lot to do, especially if they do it in the summer. Kind of gives them another thing to look forward to when they're out of school. Because a lot of times when you're out of school, you have a lot of idle, dead time, and if you don't have nothing to fill that time with, it's easier to get into stuff you don't need to get into when you have too much idle time. Take it from me, a person that was young, went through that phase in life. Idle time can be very dangerous. But let's see how it goes. I think that's good. I think that's positive. Um, Especially if they do it on good streets. I remember, man, they used to be a thing. Hoop Fest. They used to broadcast it on TV. I think it was on Channel 4. I think um, used to be a really good thing. The 3-on-3 Hoop Fest. So shout out to City of Little Rock, man, bringing that Hoop Fest back because I think that's needed in the community to give the youth something to do and look forward to. And I hope that's a great success. And shout out to the food truck event. I didn't get to go, but the pictures look pretty great and the videos I seen. Um, that was probably was a pretty good turnout. Food trucks is probably the new wave. Instead of having a brick and mortar restaurant, seems like food trucks is the way to go. I mean, why pay ridiculous amounts for a leasing when you can pretty much build you a pull behind truck trailer and make it a food truck and have everything in that food truck that you need, the bare minimum that you need to make it. Okay, that sound like a cool idea, right? So what I want to get into today, but I wanted to make sure I give a shout out to that, man. Shout out to the city of Little Rock making that happen. Trying to think about how which direction I want to go, but shout out to them for bringing Hoopfest back. I think that's a pretty cool thing because I remember when I was younger, I didn't play in it, but I remember watching it on TV. And shout out to Run. If you know Run, he won it 1 year from Sweet Home in the house. He won the 3-on-3 1 year, man. So shout out to Run, man. So I want to get into more information about Woj Wojnarowski leaving ESPN. More information popping up by the day. So it's been alleged. Allegedly, he lost his pull of power in his section of broadcast, which was the NBA bringing breaking news on the NBA. It's alleged that he lost his pull. He was had good relationship with one of the presidents, but it was alleged that uh, I think Pat McAfee had the relationship with the top dog, Iger, or something like that, and it kind of changed the landscape. And they said they think he didn't like the way that the landscape was changing because he felt like Pat McAfee got too much power, more probably than what he got, or who knows. This is what I want to say to my young people out there. In business, in the corporate world, there are points in this race that it don't matter about color. Sometimes people beat up on each other. Apples beat up on apples, oranges beat up on oranges, who knows. You will never really 100% fully know unless one of them come out and talk about it, but a lot of times working in the corporate world, some people do leave a company when they feel like they lost power or influence because not only was he making the money, but I think it was more of the influence and the power. Sometimes it's the power that makes people stay or really like their job because of the power and influence that they have. And it was alleged that he had a lot of power and influence at one point. But what I will say is getting to the mountaintop may not always be great as it seems. It was alleged that he had got so good at what he was doing that he lost. He may have had influence with front office people, but everybody else, let's say players and people like that, he lost favor with. And when you're in that business of bringing information, um, dropping reports before they really hit the mainstream news, you're probably going to lose a lot of favor with NBA players because some of that information could be detrimental, some of it could be hurtful. But when you're in the information business, a lot of it looks like that's not my problem, that's their problem. But the downside is you're going to lose favor with a lot of people. And it was alleged that he would go to games and some of the executives would look at him and be like, whose side are you on? What are you really doing here? And sometimes being viewed like that, it will affect you because everybody, I guess, in some degree wants to be liked. I guess he didn't want to be the bad guy because there are a lot of people, in my opinion, they are a bad guy behind the scenes, but when they're out in public, they want to be viewed as the good guy. But in the actual setting, they're a man. They a whole nother person. Seen that happen a lot of times where if you're gonna be the bad guy, be the bad guy. Even when you at a game, don't just be the bad guy at work and then try to play at both sides of the fence. Pretty much almost like a politician, pretty much. And we're gonna talk about some crazy stuff in politics too, because it's kind of like sports right now. It's for to get that way. So what I want to say is, woes, don't get fooled by what you see on TV. A lot of times, what you see on TV is what they put on camera at their specific point in time. But behind the scenes, that could be a totally different person. And for him to leave $20 million behind, allegedly, where they was paying us like some millions to go be a GM at St. Bonaventure, it lets you know that it was some smoke behind that, and it wasn't clear about what it was. But when they say stuff like that, it was losing the power and influence. I could see that happening because they were saying he didn't like that. Pat McAfee was allowed to wear tank top still, allowed to say cuss words on the air, things that he felt like he didn't have that same kind of influence. A lot of times, some people do leave because of that. You're gonna give him that much power, but I don't have that much power. That's not cool. I don't like that, so I'm probably about to bounce. People do that, and then there's also the stress of the job too, right? Always having to drop information. You may you have to center your life around information that comes to you, like they were saying. But I don't think it was that though. I think he actually liked that. I think it was the influence. I could see that because I've seen it in jobs working in IT. A lot of people in those high level positions, when you lose influence, you lose power or what you deem as power. A lot of times they go somewhere else. They where they're more appreciated or they get the power back in that other place. So man, money, power, respect, man. What you need in life. Money, power, respect. So he had to go back to reality though. Cause he probably had an unreal run at ESPN. They said he had an unreal run at ESPN. Like he really ran the NBA space. Whether people want to admit it or not, but like I say, man, when you get to the mountaintop though, some of the things you gotta do in that probably in that space to get to the mountaintop, it probably is gonna hurt you when you get at the top because you had to step on so many people, you had to climb over people, and the information that you put out, maybe it was to your advantage, but it was probably to somebody else's disadvantage. That's why getting to the mountaintop may not always be great as it seems. And that's probably what we're seeing with Woj.
Am I right?
All right, last topic before I get up out of here. Well, last few topics. Politics is about to get smoky. Don't fall for it. Don't get sucked into it. Focus on the policies of each person. Don't fall for the antics. Don't fall for the name calling. Don't fall for the mud throwing. Please be smart. Don't allow the entertainment to get you sucked in. And whoever you vote for, make sure you make a vote based on informed information. Don't do it based on emotion. I'm a registered independent. I look for the logical reason to vote for a person, not because of a particular reason. Policies. What's this person's policy? How's they going to help the nation? Not because this person um, is this way or that way. Could care about either one of them. Because I know politicians, they always trying to sell the best dream. Who can sell the best dream? So what I would say is please don't get caught up in the smoke. Please make sure you're making an educated, informed decision. Don't just do it because you feel a certain way. Do it because it makes sense. That's all I'm gonna say. Really don't care who you vote for. Just make sure it makes sense. So now that politics is getting smoky, we have to stop giving our uncles or older guys these cell phones because they don't know what they're doing. Michael Dyson texting the enemy, Nancy Mace. He said she outed him at a house hearing, said he texted her, said some things that were inappropriate. I'm not going to go back over it. He made a video about it, trying to profess his innocence, but you can't text the enemy. You call this woman a racist on air, and you think that she not gonna get you back for that? He did it slick too. He did it very eloquent and slick, and somehow he sent her a text after that. I guess trying to let bygones be bygones, and he sent something that could be twisted up. You have to be careful about what you send to people, emails, texts, because they can twist it up. So you got to be careful out there. Michael Dyson, he is a very educated, smart guy. Sometimes, man, you just make those random mistakes, man. It costs you because it's getting smoky out there. This ain't the time to do those things. You got to be you kind of got to do stuff and be out the way, man. You got to be careful. Don't get in the crosshairs because they will snipe you in politics now, especially now. The next few months is gonna be crazy. Going in October, it's gonna be crazy. You're gonna hear some crazy stuff. People gonna get called out, and this next person definitely got caught slipping. Mark Robinson got caught slipping. We talked about this on the Thinking Game podcast about porn, the high levels of dude that watch porn. I think it was like a 13%. It was something crazy, but Mark Robinson spoke out against it, stood against it. Somehow somebody went back and found some stuff that he got into, and it's all out there now. He went to a church, the church under fire because he got caught slipping. I think he's still trying to run, even though he got caught slipping. And what's crazy, like working in IT, a lot of times the dudes who get caught doing this kind of stuff at work be the older guys who don't understand how things work, how you can be traced. It be the older guys. Younger guys, they be harder to catch because they know how to make it harder to trace what they're doing. But older guys, they said he was still using his name. He was still using his name. Then he had another name called Mini Soldier, which is crazy, but older guys out there, 50 and up, you got to be careful, man. Man, it was crazy. They said he wanted to dance with the stars. He liked that kind of stuff, dancing with the stars.
Lit, ready to die.
And you just got to be careful out there, man. You got to be careful out there using these phones. You got to have some kind of restraint. You just got to be careful, man. Nobody's perfect. I'm not judging. I'm just saying you get caught slipping. You out there going hard, crusading against the same stuff you sneaking looking at. You're going crazy about it, then you're going to look it up. It's kind of crazy. And even though it was years ago, man, it was like years ago, but it's like, man, I'm telling you, politics is a dirty game. And if you play this game, you better be ready. Because they're going to go try to find anything they can to discredit you, to try to get you to step down and try to make you look a certain way. They're going to try it. That's the game of politics. It's not a clean game. It's a blood sport. The kumite. It's a blood sport. And what I would say is, you got to be careful out there, man. Because these guys are doing things and it'll come back and bite you sometime. And that's what happened. Did something he thought he got away with, but it actually came back and bit him. Hope he wasn't doing it on company phone. That would even be even worse. But things happen, man. Sometimes you can be your own worst enemy. Your own curiosity sometimes can take you to a place where you don't need to go.
The sooner you can match what's in your head with what's going on in the real world, the better you're gonna feel.
Sometimes your flesh tell you that. You got to match what's going on in your head. And when sooner you do, the better you're going to feel. You got to be careful about that. Don't listen to that bad voice that tell you to do something because you're going to get caught slipping. Don't get caught slipping. So with that being said, please make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Let me get ready to sign out this thing. Don't get caught up in politics. Shout out to the city of Little Rock, bringing Hoopfest back. And Woes lost his power and said, I'm out. This is Mike, CTM Sports Live. I'm signing out.